Hello and welcome to a quick look at Tharsis. Tharsis is a sci-fi dice rolling resource management game which very heavily relies on luck. The story is basically you are a group of people on a spaceship and you're heading to Mars, and then a meteor strikes and then a whole bunch of other bad stuff happens and you have to make it to Mars. So let's have a look at what it looks like in game. So you have to choose your crew members first. We're just going to stick with the basic four. They're pretty well balanced for beating the game. And then there is a little bit of story. And these story sections appear after every, like there are 10 places you need to go. And after every place you get another bit of story, and then when you get to Mars you unlock the full story. So, at the start of every turn, you get a bad thing happen to you. Which, and on the first turn, is always a meteor strike and something else. So, what do you need to do to, well, progress in the game? Well, let's have a look at what a typical turn might be like. So let's say we want our specialist here to deploy and try and fix what's gone wrong with this meteor strike. So we'll deploy them here. So our specialist has a special class ability, as all the classes have one extra ability, and the specialist can re-roll things an extra time. So at the start of each time you go to a module, you roll your dice, and then you see what you've got. So we're aiming for high numbers here because we need to be able to repair this thing. So let's then put some of our high numbers down into this dice hold, and then we can roll the rest, a bit like Yahtzee. And then we can keep doing that. Now there is a thing, stasis, and there's another one called void. Stasis means that when you roll your dice, if it rolls onto that number, that number has to stay there unless you have an assist, which can counter basically bad stuff happening. And what you can do is you can aim to get lots of assists to counter the bad stuff, or you can aim to get other things that counter the bad stuff, or you can just hope that luck is on your side. So here what we're going to do is we're going to use this dice instead of putting it in here, because that'll take 2 away from the 23 we need to get up to. What we're going to do is we're going to put it into our research projects, and that gives us another way that we can potentially mitigate some of the bad stuff. We can spend points on some of these research abilities. And the research abilities, generally, the more points you put into it, the stronger they get. And you need to get into the most powerful ones require you to have save one of each dice roll that you get. So they're pretty strong. Another thing we could have done is we could have put the 2 into this regain dice thing. And under here, you see it would earn us this. So we would get 2 extra dice. Now, the interesting thing about that is if we had another 2, because this set means that you have to have one of the same thing, and we had from another crew member who lands here, they could also regain dice. And dice is basically the main resource you need to be managing throughout this. I think we're going to keep the 4, and we're going to put everything in here. So to fix something that's broken, or it's 6 go. Fix something that's broken, you just drag it up to the repair. It will lower it down, and then basically you can just put everything in it, and then you can need to bring another crew member over to finish it up. Now, the interesting thing about repairing an area is it actually removes all of the bad stuff in the rolls. So what you can potentially do is you can repair an area that you want to use, and then there'll be no bad stuff, and you can kind of roll in it to get the area special bonuses. Now, each area has a special bonus. Flight control has no movement damage, so say we wanted to move Pascal here, we wanted to move him straight to the meteor strike, he would actually take -1 health damage because he has to pass from here, his current location, through another damaged location, so that doesn't work. Greenhouse, harvest food. Now, food is a mechanic we'll talk about later, but it's very important, but it's kind of a trick mechanic because it makes you think it's more important than it actually is. Life support regains dice. This is a really important place. This basically, dice is your main thing. So say you saw in the specialist there, we got to roll 3 dice. Now, that meant that we could heal a lot, we could repair a lot of damage. Each turn, you will lose dice on your character. I believe it's 1 dice on each character. So you have to keep regaining the dice, otherwise you're going to have some problems. Other things we need to do in the ship. Medical bay allows you to recover health. Health is on the right hand side, and that basically allows you to that if the health gets to 0 you lose, but apart from that it doesn't actually matter at all. There is also another bar on the left hand side which operations gets rid of, and that's stress. Now stress is kind of a weird thing because it's not that important. You might think it'll be like health, like if your stress gets too high then your character will die. Not necessarily. There is a random event system which we'll see in just a little bit, and stress affects how bad the random events are. Right, the other one in the ship, increased assists. That allows you to have the assists that stop bad things happening when you roll. And ship maintenance allows you to repair your ship. If you see up in the top left, we've got how much of the hull we currently have left. We have 3 blocks. And you see on this thing we need to repair, it's got 2 red things. This is saying that if we do not repair it by the end of the turn, we will lose 2 health. And then we'll be left with 1. And then it will stay there on the next turn. If we don't repair it, then we'll lose another 2 health and we'll blow up. So what we're going to do is, because we take damage going through in deploying on Meteor Strike, we're actually going to send Kayla Jones to this one. Now, system failure, I believe, means that the module is broken. Like, on the Meteor Strike, we were able to use the module's special ability, even though the module is, even though we need to repair the module. System failure means that the module is actually broken when we get there. So it does nothing else, but this isn't actually that bad. This is just the module is broken forever. Now, you might be saying, okay, well, if this isn't that bad, then why don't you just leave it there and repair the ones that are more broken? The reason you can't leave it there, well, maybe you could leave it on one of the side ones that aren't that important, but if you just leave it sitting there, then you're going to have to take the damage every time you go across it. So basically, leaving it there is a health punishment. And we can get rid of that. We have enough dice to manage to get rid of everything here. So let's roll. Hopefully we get something good here. 3 and 5, perfect. That's exactly the amount we need. See, we've repaired it, it got rid of all the bad stuff, and it opened up the ability to get some health recovery. What we're now going to do is we're going to move our mechanic over here, and we're going to hopefully repair this Meteor Strike. And 1 and 2, not the best rolls we could have got. We're going to roll the 1 again, the 2 is locked because of stasis. Hopefully we get 6. Oh, perfect. So we've repaired this module, and all the bad stuff is gone. Now, what should we do for last person? This is going to show off one of the cool things about this game. If we move the captain over here, the captain has a special ability. +1 die to crew in module. So we put a lot of crew into this module to repair it. If we put the captain in here, if we roll a 5+, we can restore 1 dice to every crew in the module. Which is why food isn't that important. Food is a mechanic to regain dice, but you can work around it. You could, say, get dice back in different ways. So we're going to roll and see what we get. So we got a 6, which we're going to put into +1 die to crew and module, and then we're going to use our 4. We can either use it to regain 2 dice or to put into our research. We're going to regain 2 dice here because that gives us a lot more dice to roll next turn. And that's the end of 1 turn. We then take random amounts of damage. I'm going to skip through the story here because it's not that important. Choose a side project to perform. So this is the random events that are affected by your stress. And basically every single time that you finish a turn, and there are 10 turns, that brings up this stress thing, like this stress events, as I'm going to call them. So we have 2 options. We can either add +1 dice for these 2 crew members, but our ship takes 2 damage. Or we can gain +1 food, and these 2 members get plus 30% stress. We're going to take this one, and the reason we're going to take this one is food is really quite good, losing ship is very bad, and stress isn't that important. So we're going to take that. So this is the food. This is all of our rations that we have left. So what we want to do with these is each time you can give food to somebody, that gives them 3 dice. And you want to try and manage your food level so that you can get a lot of dice back. I see this as kind of the backup mechanic. I see that you're able to get dice easily through the actual gameplay and through a lot of the character's abilities and through the life support module. And this is things have messed up so severely that you weren't able to go somewhere to replenish your dice. Then you use the backup of food. Okay, so next turn we get random new events. System failure on the life support module. That is awful. And this one here, the SPDA damaged, we go here, that'll do 2 damage to us, but it has another bad thing. It has void. Now void is if we roll a 4, that dice is gone completely. So we're going to attempt to roll with our 4 dice. Just hopefully we get a 4 to show off what's happening here. We didn't, but that's actually quite good for us. If we got a 4, one of these dice would just disappear, and then you'd have 3 other dice. And that adds the mechanic of how many times do you want to roll. If you keep rolling, like say we were to roll this 2 here, what would happen is we would then have the problem that that 2 might turn into 4, and then would actually be worth nothing. So there's no guarantee it's going to get us more at all. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the 6 and the 5 in here. That means that we need 4 to actually pass. Now what we can do is we could potentially put both of these in, and that would allow us to repair. But we have another option. If we put the 3 into our research projects, that unlocks the ability to use special tools, which is one of our research options you get. You can reshuffle them and you can get different options and stuff, but this allows us to repair 7 damage, and then that repairs the module. And then we got a new one, which is prevent stasis, which would apply for a whole turn. Now this allows us to re-roll this dice without any real kind of consequences. So let's re-roll it, see what we get. We got a 1, it's not really worth anything. We can't use it for our class to get +1 health, we can't use it to get health to full. So what we're going to do is we're just going to stick it in our research project. It gives us a little bit of research points and we can finish deploying. So system failure in the life support unit. What I think we want to do here is I think we want to use our specialist to try and get rid of it. Then probably use our captain to regain dice for the specialist, and then we can send our mechanic somewhere else. That seems like a lot of sense. Right, let's do it. Actually, what we could do is we can use our mechanic here, not mechanic, our captain here. The captain can maybe fix it and give an extra dice to our specialist, and then we can send a mechanic somewhere else, and on possibly the specialist as well. So we'll try that. Let's roll 4 dice. Okay, we got 2 6s, so we can go 6, 6, the module is repaired. We can put 5 into restoring 1 dice for every person in the module, and then we can put 4 into regaining the dice here, and our captain is now at full dice for next turn. Well, they'll be at 4 dice for next turn, I think, because you lose a dice at the end of the turn. We can now send our specialist off to make some food for us. So we're going to send our specialist over here. And we can roll up, and each module has different requirements for what you need. This one requires you to have matching pairs. So what we can do is we can put the 3s in the dice hold. And then we can re-roll. If we get another 3, we can get max food, which would be really nice. We didn't. We got another roll though, because we're a specialist. We get 3 rolls. Oh, we actually got a collection of 4s, which is quite good, because this shows why you shouldn't just instantly go for like putting the 3s in there, because we didn't get any more 3s, but we did actually get enough to do it with the other 3 dice. So we'll stick them in here. That gives a bit of food. And what should we do with these last 2 dice here? I think we're going to do something a little bit sneaky. We're going to put 1 dice in here. We're going to use the health kit. That costs 1. We're then going to re-roll the entirety of our research points here. So that shuffles them. We can now put this dice back in and pay for the hack. And because it works from the left to the right. So if you have something in the 1 slot, that'll get rid of the 1 dice. You could then put another 1 dice in there. Even if the other 5 are filled, it will always do it that way. So you can kind of plan the way you want to use your research points. And research points are a really nice way of just using up your extra dice. So we'll finish the deployment there. So our mechanic doesn't need to go and get more food, because we have the max amount of food we can make in a turn. What else could he do? He could go and increase our assist, which is an alright option. He could reduce stress, which is okay, but it's not the best. I think we're going to get him to repair the ship. He's a mechanic, that makes a lot of sense. And mechanic, again, requires you to have triples. So let's see what we get here. If we get any matching ones, we'll go for that. We got 5s and 6s. I'm actually going to keep 4 dice here. And my hope is that what we're going to get is this dice here is going to turn into a 5 or a 6. It turned into a 1. Okay, so it's going into research projects. We're going to put the 6s in here to repair our ship a little bit. We're going to use the mechanic special ability to repair the ship once more. And then we're going to put this in the dice hold. Now we could also use this to get another 1 up to our ship, which I think we will. And everything's looking quite good. Now +1 food from this is also really nice, because it means that you can kind of use multiple modules to get food, which is something you don't always get. We're actually in a really good position for week 9. All of our people are quite strong. And let's have a look. So If we choose this one, on the next turn we take no movement damage, which would be fine if we had negatives to our... if we had a lot of damage modules coming into the next turn, we would maybe want to use no movement damage so we could get to things that are more drastically needing help straight away. But it does reduce the dice of Pascal and Allison just a little bit. If we choose this one, this adds 50% stress to the Doctor and the Captain, which is bad, but again... Oh, it actually lowers their stress by 50%. That's pretty good, but it lowers the ship. It makes our ship a little bit closer to being killed. Given that we have no current damage to the ship, I'm going to take this just because that I feel that losing dice is too crippling. I always feel like if it's a choice between losing dice and losing some ship, if your ship can take it, take the damage to your ship. Now, we're actually not seeing a mechanic that's in the game a lot, although I think it might be next turn, so I'll wait till then. And if it's not there, then I'll talk about it. Okay, we've got the other type of dice that's bad. So, this dice here, this orange one, it doesn't lock your dice, it doesn't make the dice disappear. This one means that the dice will hurt your character's health, which is really, really bad. Especially, say, if you're rolling 4 dice, all 4 of those could roll 5, and that means you take 4 damage. So you could potentially have a character die outright because you've rolled too well. We're going to roll anyway, just because I think, well, we kind of need to. So we got enough to repair it. We'll repair it right now. We need to re-roll these 2 in the hopes that we get some ship repair. If we don't, then I think we're just going to put them into research projects, which is fine. We don't really need the ship repair. It's pretty well repaired as it is. So we'll finish our deployment. So this one has a lot of negatives. I'm not entirely happy with that. We're going to need a lot to get rid of it. But this one gives you -1 dice all. I think the -1 dice all is probably more important. I'd like to move Kayla Jones there, but she's going to take a health damage. So what we're going to do is we're going to attempt to fix the airflow first. We're going to send our specialist here. And let's roll away, see what we get. Okay, we have some assists, so they take away some of the bad stuff. We would have got injured and one of the dice would have become stasis. We're going to save a 5. I don't think a 4 is good enough to save. We're going to re-roll that. We got another 5. So that dice disappeared entirely. And then this one got assisted, so we're going to roll it 1 last time. See if we can get a good option. Oh, another 1. It's gone. Okay, so we got 10. We're going to put our points into here. And that means we'll need 12 to actually clear that module. I'm going to send our captain over there next so that we can hopefully regain some dice. Send him over, re-roll. See what we get. Oh, that is awful. 2 injured. See, our captain is now dead. Completely. Now, this is the problem with the game. It has a lot of RNG. Our captain actually had a reasonable amount of health, but took so much damage from this one action that our captain's gone forever. Which is unfortunate. We're going to send our doctor in here. We really need to get this fixed, so we're going to try again. Okay, our doctor has enough. So we're going to put our points in here just to fix it straight. Oh, I missed it. I guess we needed to use all of them anyway. But that's fine. It's finished. And we have a damaged module. So now we're down to 3 people. So our dice is really... It's a massive resource that we need to manage now. Because we have effectively lost 5 dice forever. So we can either get no movement damage and just Kayla takes 40% stress, or we can get +1 dice and -2 ship. I think we have to take the ship damage just because we're so low on dice. We would take that. And this gives the option that we've got here. You have an option in this game to do cannibalism. So say we want, it gives back the same amount of food, but it does lower max health forever. So that makes injuries a little bit stronger. Now, I think I'm just going to use food for just now because we don't really want to use the dice that cannibalism give just yet. Maybe Alison Silva can be a cannibal. Yeah, he cannibalized. I don't like that she just winked after that. It's a little bit disconcerting. But cannibalism also increases stress, which then means that you get more bad events. So it's not so good. And you see, now we've got a lot more than we could possibly deal with. We have 3 modules. Maybe if we're lucky on dice, we can get rid of all 3 in this one go. But then we can't use anybody, we can't say send Pascal off to repair the ship. So let's use Kate. I think what we want to do here, ideally, I'm just working out, is we want to use Allison to get rid of this one. We want to use Kayla. We want to use Pascal to get rid of this one, the 18. And then we want to use Kayla to get rid of this one. But we can't really do that because Pascal only has 3 dice, so you need to roll 3 6s to get rid of the -1 health all. So let's send... I guess we'll use Kayla on this one. We'll send Allison into the into this one. Into the APU damage, and then we'll send Pascal into Popcat over here. So Kayla, I'm counting on you. Let's roll it. Okay, that's not too bad. That's 11 straight off. We got another 3 there, but we'll re-roll it. We can get better. Okay, they're both stasis. Is that enough? 5, 11. That's not enough. So, if it's not enough, what are our other options? Well, we should probably stick these into the repair anyway. Just because they're really high numbers, that kind of works out. And then we got to have a look here. Maybe getting an extra food would be quite nice. I think we'll do that. We'll get the extra food. And then we'll stick this in here. So we got one of these research projects that are really strong. Prevent Void. If we get like I have seen a 3 void module before where it had 3 numbers were voids. Prevent Void just means that you're going to get a lot of dice back. You do have to put 4 in to actually acquire it, but it does mean you can get some quite nice high numbers if we need to. Now, we have to send Pascal here. The reason we have to send Pascal here is we need to... he has the least number of dice, so he's the least useful right now. So we'll roll him up. Let's see what we get. Okay, you got a 6 and a 1. We could use those. I think it would actually be better. It would actually be better to use a 6 and a 3 here. And my logic is, if we use 6 and 3, we can then use the 1 in our research projects, and that will allow us to hopefully get some more benefits. I would like to use the supplements for +1 die to all crew next turn, so hopefully we get enough spare dice that we can do that. And now we're on to this one, which gives -1 health all. Let's roll it. Let's see what we get. Now, all the dice are red, of course, because she was a cannibal. Oh, double injured. That is vicious. Okay. We'll keep the 6. Keep the 4, and then we'll roll again. Let's see what we get. Okay. What do we have here? We have 6, 11, 15. Oh, do we have 22? That counts it up in the bottom corner. I actually didn't notice that. Let's put these in. Let's see if we can get this right. 6, 4, that would be 17. Okay, I think we can get an exact number here. Yep, we can get an exact number. That's fine. Put those in, and then we'll put this into the research project. And is that us done this turn? That is us done this turn. We're going to get -1 dice all, which is very vicious. And then we get a little bit more story, and we have to make another choice. And these choices are getting worse. Not only are they getting worse, but if you don't choose someone's choice that like lowers their stress, then it will actually give them more stress. So we can either take 2 to the ship, or we can take -1 health to all the crew. So have a look at the ship. Ship only has 3 health left. But it does give everyone an extra dice. This, however, lowers everyone's health. Everyone's actually quite high on health. I'm going to take this minus stress in the health lowering, just because I don't want to take more ship damage. Now here, I think we need to give food to Pascal and to Kayla, but we don't actually need to cannibalize anyone, which is quite nice. We don't need to do any more cannibalism this turn. We'll end the turn there. We got some new events, and you see the events get worse and worse as the game goes on. That's 32 damage. That is vicious. What do we need to do? I think we need to get rid of the dice all. We need to just get rid of it. It's been there for too long. But we also need to get this +1 dice all before we roll Allison, because she only has 3 dice. I think we need to use Kayla, because she has 5 dice, so the +1 dice won't actually do anything for us. And then we can now make these 2 stronger. So we'll send Kayla into the centrifuge. Roll it up. And let's see what we got. We got a 6 and a 5. Stick them in. And now we've got a couple extra dice to deal with. And this is one of the things I like about it, is trying to work out what you want to do with the remaining dice. Now I think putting the 6 into research projects would probably make a lot of sense. But we're going to hold the 6 just in case we get another 6 here. As we don't want to get... yeah, it doesn't make that much difference. But just in case we get anything else here. So we got another 6. I'm going to put the 2 into the research project. That gives us +1 dice for everyone. Then probably 1 6 into research projects, and then both of these are pretty much the same. We'll put it into actually this one only gives her 1 health, but it gives Pascal 1 health as well. But this effect, so that's effectively 2 health restored. This is 3 health restored. We'll take the 3 health. So Kayla's nice and healthy, and that means that we can potentially use her health. Like if there's a negative event that affects her health, we can take it because she's got a lot to give up. So I don't think we're going to be able to fix the steering failure. I think unless we're incredibly lucky. Actually, I don't think there's any way we could get that without 2 people going into it, so we need to send someone down to get rid of these dice. We'll do that now. Roll it up. We got enough, so we can put the 1 to 3 in there, and then the rest can just go into research points. Stick that there. +1 health all crew. I don't really like any of these. Actually I do like Prevent Void. We'll save up for Prevent Void. And Pascal, we could put him here, but even if he rolls 5 6s, he's only going to get a maximum of 30 points. So you could put all of his dice in here, or we can send him to repair the ship. And if we repair the ship, then that means that the negatives aren't actually going to be that bad. So we'll save up the 2s here. Looks like 2s are going to be our important one. Do we want to save a 5? We'll save a 5 as well. There we go. Roll it up. Oh, we got another 5. That's kind of useless. We'll put the 2s into ship repair. We'll then put 1 of the 5s into class, and then we'll put the rest into research projects, and we will end our turn. Perfect. It's not too bad. We take 1 damage from the steering failure, but overall we're okay. So let's have a look at our options for this time. So +1 food, +30 stress for Kayla. That's not too bad. She's fairly alright. Or no movement damage and -1 dice for Allison and Pascal. That is awful. So we need to take the +1 food. Done. And then I think we'll use the food on Allison, and everything's looking good. Set to new events. Oh, these events are vicious. That is 3 injury dice. So that would probably kill Allison if we were to do it. What I think we might want to do is we either want to use health kits to give Allison a better chance of surviving, or we want to try and roll it again. Like we want to roll our research, which I think is what I'm going to do. We're going to look for prevent injury. No, we got prevent injury. We do need 6 though. We need all 6 things filled. So we're going to send it's Kayla or the mechanic. We'll send Kayla in here because she's got a lot of health and she can kind of do this. See what we get. Okay, so we got a lot of high numbers. We can put 1. We can hold the 2 because we need the 2 for the research project. Can we repair this straight up? Yeah, we can repair this. That's fine. We'll repair it. Now we really want a 1. We want this to be a 1. We really want this to be a 1. Come on, 1. We got a 5. That's not so good. All of our options are pretty bad there. I think what we're going to do is we're going to take the 2. I'm going to stick it in here, and then we're just going to get rid of this 5. We'll just leave it without using it. Now, what we could also do is we could potentially re-roll. We could potentially use the 17-1 module thing to get rid of something really bad. Like we can send Pascal over to food, and then he only needs to get up to, what would that be, 14? Yeah. So I think we're going to do that. We're going to send him over here. We're going to try and not lose all of our food. Luckily we didn't take any. Oh, we only took 1 injury. That's not too bad. We could put the 1 in here and not prevent injury, which is an option. Or we can use the 17 repair. I want to prevent injury right now, so we're going to do that. We'll stick it in there. That'll allow us to prevent injury if we need to. Hold on to the 6. And do we do it now? I think we probably do it now. We'll prevent injury. Okay, so we'll re-roll these 2. 6 and a 2. We'll just dump these into repair, and then we'll put that into research projects. Okay, so let's try and get rid of this damage to the ship. 22 damage, there are 3 negatives, but we've got the prevent injury for this turn only, so if we roll it up, we should be absolutely fine. They're all blocked, and none of them take damage. I'm going to re-roll all of them, because they're all below 4. That is also awful. Let's try again. Is that enough? It's only 19. We actually got awful rolls there. We never got enough to clear it. We'll put 1 into research projects and then the rest into repair. We're going to take a lot of damage this turn. Things are going pretty badly because we lost a member pretty early on. But we only need to survive 5 more rounds. And that's kind of the that's the hook in this game, is how many rounds can you actually survive. Let's choose between these two. Let's go for +1 food, -1 health for all crew. I guess we have to take that, yeah. And then probably give the food to Pascal. We're still not doing a lot of cannibalism. And let's see what events we get. Yeah, this is probably going to be the end of us. We're actually going to take almost full ship damage. I think what we need to do is we need to first of all repair this one. She'll probably die while rolling it, which is the issue. There is +3 health 1 crew here though. All we can do is we can use Pascal in here. He might die by rolling, but he's got less chance of dying by rolling. We'll roll it up. He lived. Okay. Oh, we actually got an assist here, so that stopped that from dying. So we'll dump the research project in there. We've got 21 points left. We'll stick these into repair, and that will be this module repaired. We're still taking more damage than we can deal with, but we can give her +3 health, which means that she will survive. She can roll it up. I'll see what we get. We got a couple of 6s. We can stick a 6 in there. Probably then stick the rest into research projects, just on the off chance that we get something really good. We do have 17 repair 1 module, which is something we could do. I think Kayla might have to go and repair our ship, because that might be our only option. I think if she repairs the ship, we're dead, and if she doesn't repair the ship, we're also dead. I think that might be right there. Is there another way we could get out of this? Let's have a look. Health recovery, increase assists. I think we might be dead. I think we're completely out of it here. We'll roll it up just to be sure. So roll in here. We got 3 6s, and this one's stasis. We only got 19. What would probably be best is actually keeping 2 of the 6s. Rerolling the last one. If it's a 2, 3, or a 4, we actually get 17 repair. There we go. We can use that to repair it by 17. And then we can stick the 6s into this one. That's about the best we could do there. We have lost, and you get to see the brilliant losing animation. We take 4 damage, and there goes the ship. So, what are my overall thoughts about Tharsis? Tharsis is really luck based, which is its worst feature, but it's also the feature I like most about it. It gets you to think about the probabilities, and it's kind of it's pretty cool. We actually did very well in that run. That run did a lot better than some of my earlier runs, and it showed some of what the negatives can be. Now, what can happen in other runs is you have to make a heavy use of the cannibalism mechanic, and that really gives you a lot of stress, and then you're dealing with bad events, and you have to try and figure out the best or the most optimal way of your each turn going and how you can deal with each event, which is pretty cool. And it's nice that it has some randomness. I'd prefer if it was almost less random, but again, that would take away some of the point. But I don't know. It's a very interesting game. You can pick it up on Steam right now. I think it is 34% off right now, so if you like the look of it, then I really recommend you give it a shot. There is one last thing I want to talk about though, which is this thing here where it says missions coming soon. I really dislike seeing that in a game that's being released not in early access, so that's something that's a little bit worrying. Looking at the rest of the game, I don't have any reason to believe that missions are just a dead feature, but I would almost prefer if they didn't show a coming soon feature in a finished product. So, anyway, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.